Hello and welcome to a Brit Reacts to Bollywood. And can you believe it's been a couple of weeks now since I last could publish a video for all of you, and I've really enjoyed this period, so it was painful to have to stop. The reason being I moved house, which took a lot of effort and work and painting, but I've got my lovely big world poster behind me. I've got acoustics, calm here, and I've managed to settle in just before Christmas here in London. And I've taken a look over the last few videos and the last few films and songs we were looking at. And then I got a message from a subscriber called Sekar, who says, "I love your reactions. I would love to see your reaction to this lovely song from the old Hindi movie Nagin, 1954. It stars the stunningly beautiful Vyjayanthimala, which I completely agree with. It's unfortunate that today's Bollywood doesn't capture the heart of India, the different native tribes living in or near the forests, and their customs and cultures. Also, we have lost the innocent and spiritual romance," which is a really interesting take. "Today it's all about raw passion and not the emotional depths." And I think there's a lot to say about that. Sekar very kindly suggested this film and he made a little donation, which I really appreciate, which I'm going to use to build this channel, and I appreciate all of your support in various ways. It's deeply kind of you, Sekar. I really appreciate it. And I will, of course, look at this song. This looks like a fantastic film, and I've just seen this poster. There's a couple of layers to it, actually. The Bollywood aspect to it. And Filmistan Limited must be a very old brand there. And we've got these two, almost like an Adam and Eve figure. They're kind of curiously ancient, filmic, cinematic aspect to this poster. And we've also got the fact that it represents something kind of primal about people and humanity. And it almost looks like they've got the Alps behind them. And they're in these very ancient clothes, which look beautiful, by the way. I really like this poster because it captures that era of Bollywood, I think, so well. It's very simple. I think illustrated film posters from those days somehow were much more powerful and artistic and expressionist, actually. Even the ones that were illustrations of an actor's face. Something about it is just powerful. This is a Hindi language romantic drama film directed by Nandal Jaswantlal, written by Rajendra Krishan, Hamid Bhatt and Bijon Bhattacharya. It stars Vyjayanthimala and Pradeep Kumar and has a hit musical score by Hemant Kumar. I wonder if they were brothers. The film was partly produced in Technicolor. It was a blockbuster and the biggest grossing film of '54. Moreover, it established the career of Vyjayanthimala in Hindi film history. I didn't realise this was her debut. The synopsis: two Adivasi tribes, Nagi and Ragi, are in conflict for the local economic rights. I wonder how that manifests itself. The daughter of the Nagi tribe's chief, Mala, played by Vyjayanthimala, vows to kill the son of the Ragi tribe's chief, Sanatan, played by Pradeep Kumar, as revenge. Trespassing in the enemy territory, she is mesmerized by the music of a flute. Coming closer, she finds out that the player is Sanatan. They fall in love but find it difficult to appease the enmity between the two tribes and to resist the attempts of the villain Prabir, played by Jeevan, to marry Mala. This is so funny because this is literally a very similar formula to the film that I previously saw set in Rajasthan. It's very similar to Romeo and Juliet story, where there were two tribes in Rajasthan which were fighting it out. And then one of their daughters and one of their sons fell in love, and it was a sort of tragedy, really. Very similar concept. I like that. This is a very early Bollywood film, so let's see what we think of the style, of the set, of the work that they've put into this. This is actually very intriguing. JAADUGAR SAINYAA.
जादूगर सैया छोड़ो मोरी बैया हो गई आधी रात अब घर जादू जादूगर सैया छोड़ो मोरी बैया हो गई आधी रात अब घर
Very touching.
जाने दे ओ रसिया मेरे मन बसिया जाने दे ओ रसिया मेरे मन बसिया गाँव मेरा बड़ी दूर है तेरी नजरिया रुक न सकूं मैं प्यार मेरा मजबूर है तेरी नजरिया रुक न सकूं मैं प्यार मेरा मजबूर है जंजीर पड़ी मेरे हाथ अब घर जाने दो
Wonderful
जादूगर सैया छोड़ो मोरी बैया हो गई आधी रात अब घर जाने दो
She's so young. Look at that set.
झुकी झुकी अखियाँ देखेंगी सारी सखियाँ झुकी झुकी अखियाँ देखेंगी सारी सखियाँ देंगी ताना तेरे नाम का ऐसे में मत रोक बेदर्दी ले रे वचन कल शाम का ऐसे में मत रोक
Her hair is amazing.
ले रे वचन कल शाम का
Look at his
कल
outfit.
होंगे
Don't stop me, you
फिर हम
cruel one.
साथ अब घर जाने दो जादूगर सैया छोड़ो मोरी बैया हो गई आधी रात अब घर जाने दो
Wow. What an outfit. Really short and sweet and simple. There's a lot to be said here. The set is really interesting. They obviously had a soundstage there, but they managed to recreate a genuine like heath with multi-layered sloped grass and bushes and trees and stuff. It's very impressive. The costumes seemed quite authentic and simple. The whole thing was quite simple. It was a very small soundstage, very small space that they performed in, but most of their movements, their expressions were close up, small, subtle. Vyjayanthimala reminded me a lot of like a young Madhuri Dixit. There so much facial expression. These are all necessary, I think, in a film like this. And it's incredible to pull so much through facial expressions, which are so small, especially on a camera. They're so small. They're not like a stage performance. It was very cheeky and playful and very endearing, actually, I think, especially for a debut performance for a young actress in 50s India. It's an incredibly endearing and sweet and attractive introduction to film. He was great because he really wasn't performing the song the way that she was, but he was giving and he was reacting and he was playing with her. It's very interesting when you see something like that, how the other actor fills the space and fills the screen when it's not their song. I think that's a really interesting pattern that I've noticed in these films. A lot we're given, really nice production values. The guys at the end with the spears, did not expect that. It's a very interesting period in Indian history. Sekar, this is a really appealing video from that era because I get what you're saying. It is innocent love and romance and spirituality, actually. And I think the innocence is really crucial, especially in a film set in an ancient era, because really we're looking at like something that is more primally human and more simply human. In the modern era, we have such a sense of knowing and familiarity with sexuality and with a sense of being all too familiar with the pitfalls and the upsides of romance and women and men and all this. But actually this is a deeply endearing thing, and I think the fact that Vyjayanthimala is this young, innocent, fresh-faced actress very much lends to that, and his gentlemanly attitude and posture and positioning and expressions really add to that. It's a connection not on a physical level, it's a connection on eye to eye, heart to heart, head to head. I think that's really interesting. They're challenging each other somehow there. They're playing a game with each other in some way. This is a really interesting film. And I just really want to thank you, Sekar, because I do appreciate donations. They really do move me because I do this primarily for fun and for the connection and for learning. So it means a lot to be able to use that to develop the infrastructure for this channel. It helps, I appreciate it, and this is a lovely, lovely suggestion. I'd love to hear more of your thoughts and feedback on this film and other films of this era. I mean, I did look at Howrah Bridge a couple of years ago now with a young Helen, and it was just gorgeous, but that was much more a sort of formula of a thriller, light and shadow. I really appreciate that, and I'd love to hear your suggestions for other things in the era and into the 60s and 70s, or anything actually. I love it. Thank you so much for watching, for your interest, for your support, and I will see you again next week. It'll be Christmas time. Much love to you and yours, and of course, I should say, Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Sat Sri Akal Ji, Vanakam, greetings to you and yours, wherever you are. Much love to you all. Chin chin, cheerio.